Welcome, you mangy mutts, to the Dogs of War.
And welcome back again to the Dogs of War. This time we're going to be painting part 2 of Ulrik the Slayer. We're going to get some black on his armor and maybe paint his cloak, and we'll see how far we get. I don't want to waste any more time here. Let's get some paint on him. So what I'm going to be painting with, the black there is going to be Army Painter's matte black is what I'm going to go for. And just what I have on hand. I do have Citadel paint too, but I don't know how to use this up. Let's see where we get. Okay, see if I can keep him on camera here. So last time we painted, we got some of the fur done there and used some contrast paints. And if we get to the cloak this time, I'm going to use some contrast paint again on it. I'm having to be a little more careful this time than last. I don't want to mess up any of the parts that we did last time, especially the fur areas there in the face. I can fix some parts there on his beard, because I intended that to be a darker gray than it turned out with some of the contrast white that I put on it. Thought it may turn out a little different, but it didn't. So I can go back over it some. I'm going to go over the belt. Most all of the belt here, mainly because I want to get into those crevices that the gold may not fill whenever I paint it. You don't want any of your initial base color coming through if you did base it in a lighter color like I did. I want to keep the shadows on the darker side. Not always black. A lot of times blue or purple makes a good shadow. Yeah, I wasn't sure last time if I was going to do his armor black, but the more I looked at the original art on Games Workshop website, I decided it was all right. Get a little bit of music going here. Something to listen to. Some paint on him. I did some building last night, and I didn't record any of it, but I built the incursors from the Prophecy of the Wolf box set. So that'll be another video or series there of getting some of those painted up. I went off. Let's get back on camera here. And the Prophecy of the Wolf box, that's some really nice models. And I liked, there's one of them, there's one where he's throwing the knife. Let's see if I can get him on here. Yeah, that was really neat looking. That's going to be really fun to paint. And I already had, so I chose the incursors. I already had the other option from whatever the Shadow Spear box set, I believe it was. I had a unit of those, and I wanted to be able to drop some mines down. With the new edition, it looked like everybody's saying that board control. And there, to be able to drop a couple of those mines around can only help with that. So it's starting to come together a little bit. I think I don't know if you can see what I'm doing there. God, this black is a little thicker than probably needs to be. Thinned it a little bit. Probably needed to thin it a little more, just so that it flows a little better into the cracks there. Turn it upside down and see what all I missed. Hey, there's an arm. I got a little too much water in it. A little too much thinning there. How about that one thing that you really don't want to do? You look at my brush now. Let's see if I can get it on. I've got paint all the way up to the base of my brush, which is called something, I'm sure. Because generally that's the place that you don't want paint to be. So really keep it towards the tip. All right, let's get it out of there. move over a little bit. How about that? So keeping these videos shorter, I've found that it's been harder to do. I don't know if y'all are like me, but whenever I start painting, kind of lose track of time. And especially if you get into a rhythm, good background music, and then, yeah, next thing you know, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, you have to be at work at 8. And you just wonder where the time went. That happens to me often. I see exactly how much coffee I can ingest if I can make it to work on time. And how I intend to do it next day. I can guarantee that well, my models do not get painted unless I make time, pick up the brush, and just put some paint on something. And I make myself do it sometimes. Once I start painting, I'm good. It's getting in here, getting off the computer, stop searching YouTube for models to 3D print. Get some paint on the palette, put it on Space Wolf. I said before in my other videos, there will be got quite a few different factions to paint, and with I got a box and a half of the Indominus coming. That'll be quite a bit there. I still have a lot of Death Guard. I have the other half of the Prophecy of the Wolf box, so there's plenty of orcs to build and paint. So yeah, my pile of shame is quite large. Probably not as large as some of y'all's. If I can get them there. Ooh, went out of focus. Okay. So if you're still watching here, we're painting Ulrik the Slayer. He came in and This is the second part, so if you missed the first one, go subscribe to my YouTube channel, check that other video out, and doubt we're gonna get finished with him. I'm almost certain today. Went off camera, didn't I? And my intent is to, I guess with making these videos, is to encourage people like myself who are not the greatest painters to paint your models. That it's okay to make the mistakes. You learn what not to do, and you get a little bit better at it for next time. Everyone has to start somewhere. You don't just miraculously just all of a sudden you're great at it. It's not how it works. I wish it did. I want to take the Ain't Great Warhammer figures pill. Alright, let's see. Like, I think I might have gotten enough black on him, I think. What do you think? I'll keep it on. That's enough to start with. Need to see some other colors though. Hopefully the music is not too loud. And the fact that I'm recording, it's not a live feed. Maybe I'll be able to adjust it. So I was using the Army Painter matte black there. I think we're going to go with a Blood Angels red contrast paint for the cloak, and it's going to take quite a few layers. I can use it straight out of the pot here. Yeah. Alright, on here, let's see if we can get some red. Right. A piece of sprue there that's not be there. Up there. Let's get around and see. Try that. Try that. It's going to take several coats of the contrast here. And I'm using it not so much like a contrast paint. I'm not putting so much that it's going to run down into the crevices. I guess as contrast paint was intended. but more like a normal, really thin down, just thin to paint. With the dense pigment, to go over some of that fur a little bit too. The dense pigment, it's really vibrant, you can see. Well, I say vibrant, it's a dark red, but it's yeah, I'm not sure how you would describe vibrant. I guess it's rich, maybe is the word. Very rich color. Like I said, I'm not the best painter, but I figure if I keep at it, I watch some cool YouTube videos of people who do know what they're doing, who's like a style, or whose end product looks like something that I want my figures to look like. And I'll eventually get there. The red is coming out really well, I think. Some up here. Let's see. Try to get there's hard to get in the kind of find everything. And some of that, maybe it's better to paint some of it before you assemble, but I opted not to do that. Did I get all of this cloak now? I might have. And that was Blood Angels Red contrast paints. So I put on there. And let's see what I want to do next. I don't know. Let's what do we want to do? Put a little gold on him, maybe. Or do we want to do some of the cloak next? or some of the fur. Let's see if I've got a darker brown that we can put on there. Wildwood or contrast paint. I don't know if it's possible. What's it in there? Maybe a Sigor brown. I don't know if Sigor brown is darker than Wildwood or not. Not going to have to use very much of it. Put it there, and I think I'm going to thin it some. Let's see what we can get here. And if I don't like it, then I'll go back over it with a white and do it again. So I want it just here. Did it too much. Grab. Look as dark as I'd like it to be. I want darker than that. Let's see if Wildwood is giving me that darker look. Try this. Focused. Maybe that'll work off the foot. So it's darkening up the fur there some. And the white parts of the fur, we're gonna whenever we put a wash on it, it's going to tone those down some. So I'm not too worried about that. Because they're definitely shining right now. That got us another layer on the fur. Yeah, I think so. Whenever we hit that with an Agrax, or even possibly that Saigo or brown white, with it being thinned, may act a little. See, do it somewhere that I can fix. Yeah, that might work. So take a look here. This Saigo brown that I thinned on the. Let's see if it'll tone this white down some. It's working out pretty well. And I actually stayed on camera for once. I like the look, except for those places that I went overboard with the red. Turned out okay. I feel like I need to fix some of that red. I'm gonna have to dry. I'm just have to wait and come back to it later. I had the Agrax out. We're gonna let's put this here. Go over a little bit of the horns there, base of the horns, with some Skeleton Horde contrast paint. So I'm pulling the paintbrush towards where I want the paint to end up. I want it to end up at the base. There where the horns are. So I pull my paintbrush towards the base, and when you pull back, your paint is deposited more at the base than it is where you start. If that makes sense. It took me a while to understand that, even after listening to everybody say it, until I just started doing it myself, and I started painting some ogres, and there's lots of horns and things, and it started making a little more sense to me. So skeleton horde, that's what we use there. Actually, well, I got that open, but we put a little bit on the, put a little bit of these guys. There we go. I noticed the underneath missed it the other day. All right. So I don't believe I'm going to end up with a, I'm not going to end up with a perfectly painted model. What I will end up with is a model that I'm proud to put on the table beside the other ones that I painted. And everyone says the rule of cool. I think he'll look pretty cool. Pretty neat. Let's see if I can. Oh, how I ended up full screen. Okay. All right, so that's a little more. What are we? We're already 30 minutes in. I'll tell you what. Let's stop there for now, and when we come back next time for part 3, we'll try to put some Retributor armor on him and start letting some of those gold pieces stand out. Some of the trim on his armor, and yeah, that's what we'll do next time. Let's see if I can get back on screen. So I appreciate you staying with me while we're painting Ulrik, and next time we'll like I said, we'll try to get some of that gold. So that I will say until next time.